In the quiet hum of a bustling city, where everyone seemed to be rushing towards something, money, success, validation, one night quietly changed two lives forever. It was late, nearly midnight, when a young woman named Alina was returning from her night shift at a local bakery. Her life was far from glamorous. Orphaned at a young age, she had learned to survive the harsh realities of the world with little more than kindness in her heart and resilience in her soul. She lived in a tiny one-room apartment, took care of two stray cats, and occasionally brought leftover bread home to feed the pigeons. That night, rain had been falling steadily, soaking the streets and leaving everything glistening under the occasional flicker of broken streetlights. Alina took her usual shortcut through an alley behind the bakery, only to stop when she heard a low groan from behind a dumpster. At first, she hesitated. It could be dangerous, but her instincts, always leaning toward compassion, urged her to check. What she saw would change everything. There, shivering in the cold and covered in dirt, lay a man in a torn suit. His face was bruised, and he looked barely conscious. He was clearly not a homeless man. His watch, though cracked, was a Rolex. His shoes, scuffed and soaked, had once been polished leather. Something had gone terribly wrong for him to end up here. Alina gently tapped his shoulder, asking if he was okay. The man tried to respond, but his voice was too weak to be understood. With surprising strength for someone of her petite frame, Alina helped him to his feet and brought him home. Her apartment was humble, a creaky bed, a flickering stove, one lamp, and an old heater that barely worked. She laid the man down, wrapped him in a blanket, and offered him some warm water and tea. He slept deeply that night, with her cats curled at his feet as if they knew he needed comfort. Alina stayed up watching him, wondering who he was, what had happened, and why someone like him was lying in the garbage on a rainy night. The next morning, he woke up with a start. Confused, he looked around the small room. "Where am I?" he asked, voice raspy. "You're safe," Alina said softly. "I found you last night. You were in bad shape." The man studied her face, and slowly, gratitude replaced confusion. "Thank you," he said. "My name is Adrian. Adrian Cole." The name didn't ring a bell for her. She simply smiled and nodded. "I'm Alina. You can stay here until you're feeling better." What Alina didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that Adrian Cole was the CEO of a billion-dollar tech company. He had made his fortune developing AI systems used in everything from healthcare to finance. But just days before she found him, Adrian's life had crumbled. A betrayal by his closest business partner had caused a media scandal that rocked his company. His name was dragged through the mud. He was ousted from his position. To make things worse, his fiancée left him, taking with her the last shred of emotional stability he had. In the span of 48 hours, the world he had built collapsed. Ashamed, broken, and disoriented, Adrian wandered the city, trying to escape the weight of failure. He drank heavily and eventually blacked out, waking up only when Alina rescued him. Over the next few days, Adrian slowly regained his strength. He watched Alina move through her small world with grace, feeding her cats, reading old books by candlelight, cooking simple meals with creativity and joy. She never asked him personal questions. Never judged him. She treated him as an equal, not knowing, or caring, about his wealth or status. For the first time in years, Adrian felt human again. He began to help out around the house, fixing the heater, replacing a broken doorknob, even painting the faded walls with some old paint cans she had lying around. Their bond deepened with quiet conversations over tea and laughter over clumsy attempts at cooking. It was all so ordinary, yet extraordinary in how healing it felt. One night, Adrian finally told her the truth. He explained who he was, what had happened, and how he had lost everything: his company, his relationships, even his sense of purpose. Alina listened silently, then said something he would never forget. "You're not your company. You're not your mistakes. You're just a person. And that's enough." That sentence, so simple yet so profound, shook Adrian to his core. In the corporate world, he had been seen as a brand, a leader, a figurehead. No one saw the man underneath. But Alina did. The next morning, Adrian left her apartment with a promise: "I'll come back. I just need to make things right." Weeks passed. Alina missed him, of course. But she didn't expect anything. That's not why she had helped him. She believed in doing good, even when no one noticed. But then, everything changed. One morning, a black car pulled up outside her building. Men in suits got out and asked for her by name. Confused, she followed them. They took her to a high-rise building downtown, where the receptionist greeted her with, "Miss Alina, Mr. Cole is expecting you." She was led to a stunning office on the top floor. And there he was, Adrian, no longer disheveled, but dignified. Confident. Radiating the kind of calm that comes from having been broken and rebuilt. He had started a new company, this time with a mission rooted in empathy and human connection. And he wanted her to be a part of it. "You saved me," he told her. "Not just my life, but my soul. I want to build something that gives back. And I want you by my side." Alina was stunned. "But I don't know anything about business. You know about kindness. And that's where everything begins." She accepted. Together, they built not just a business, but a community. Adrian's new company focused on technology for social good, tools to help the homeless, mental health apps for underserved communities, platforms for food redistribution. And Alina, with her grounded wisdom, became the heart of the operation. Their story soon caught media attention, not because of Adrian's comeback, but because of Alina's role in it. People were moved by how an ordinary girl changed an extraordinary man's life, not through grand gestures, but through simple, consistent humanity. They didn't fall in love overnight. Their bond wasn't born of fairy tales. It was forged through shared pain, healing, and trust. Eventually, that bond deepened into love, a love that didn't rely on wealth or status, but on understanding and mutual respect. Years later, at a company town hall, Adrian spoke to his team. "I lost everything once," he said. "And I found something better. I found someone who reminded me that the worth of a person is not measured by their bank account, but by the size of their heart. She gave me hope when I had none. And today, I stand not as a CEO, but as someone who was saved by a stranger's kindness." The audience gave a standing ovation. Alina, watching from the front row, smiled, knowing that while the world now knew the story, only she knew the quiet moments that made it real. Sometimes, life writes the most beautiful stories not in headlines, but in alleyways, in one-room apartments, in cups of tea shared between strangers. And sometimes, the greatest riches are not found in bank vaults, but in the hearts that choose to care when no one else does. So if you ever wonder whether your small act of kindness matters, remember this story. Because the girl who took a broken man home from the garbage didn't just change his life, she helped change the world.